Cheers folks and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to change up things a bit. Upon request I am commenting my first Alliance War video and I hope it's useful, I hope it's helpful. Please let me know what you think of it or if you want to see Alliance War videos in the future without any comments. So it's the first war of the season and as you can see here we are fighting the Knights of Badastium. Now, congratulations to whoever came up with that name. It's a Season 4 Platinum 1 Alliance, and currently they're ranked number 12 in war rating. The reason why they're so much higher in war rating is because during off-season, a lot of the top alliances were tanking. That means not placing any defense to lose war rating points, so they can match easier alliances during the season. So, it is as it is. We're number 1, they're number 12, so that's why in the end we got matched with this alliance. Now the team I was choosing mainly because of course the path that I was assigned to, plus also the champions that are on this path. It's pretty much my standard team, which is Blade, Void and Ghost Rider. Blade with Ghost Rider synergy because I was suspecting a Red Hulk on the way, and Void because path 7 is very much a healing path. So with Void is just the right answer to reverse all healings on this path. And to start with, in the first section of the war on the right side, I was taking path 8. The reason for this is I'm not using Corvus, so I don't need mutant or tech champs to gain charges. So that was the path where actually there was no charge to gain. And the first opponent is a rank 3 skill champion, and the node 5 that is mainly a healing recovery boost and a special lock 1. So once you gain 1 bar of power, you cannot gain any more power. And then also get some physical resistance buffs. But in the end, a rank 3. So a very typical fight that I would start with Blade. Because he's just the safest with his healing abilities to, have a good first fight and also to save Void for the second part of the path. Now, the first opponent here is Karnak. Karnak has one danger, which is that he shrugs off stun very quickly. And here it seems like he was placed also with maximum limber mastery. So basically I had to fight him like a stun immune champ, which is okay. You just let him fire off his heavies or fire off his specials. The good thing is his specials are quite easy to evade. So, just have to be a little bit patient. Just do your thing, wait until he fires off heavies or specials, then do your punches. Fire off your specials 1 because you can't get more power than special 1, and then just basically rinse and repeat for the rest of the fight, and then it's actually a pretty easy and straightforward fight. So a few scratches but nothing major on this very first fight. Now I'm in Europe, which means that I'm clearing the first section always in the evening and then I continue next morning. Now unfortunately or fortunately for me, there was no other defender that was placed on that path. So that was also already it for the evening, and I continued in the morning with then path 7, which is this path here, starting with Nightcrawler. Now looking at the other nodes to come after that, I was suspecting a Iron Man Infinity War on 38, a very common node for Iron Man Infinity War, and as I said, the Red Hulk that I was suspecting on 42, and the lower right mini-boss, which is the Blade. That is basically the path that I'm taking, and I was very confident that I took the right team, because on this path it's very much about healing nodes. That is just Void's thing to reverse healing and basically kill your opponents through their healing abilities. Now I will show you the first 2 nodes. The first one, 31. It has 200% attack and health, 300% health, so quite a lot of extra health and attack for this champion. And then it's buffered especially, which means every time you get a buff, your opponent heals for 5% of the maximum health. Then this health is even boosted by 100%, 150% due to healing and recovery node. And also all the buffs for this champion are increased by 40%. And the second one to follow, buff on node 38, is a armor up node. So here you gain an armor up every 2 seconds. You take away again armor ups if you punch your opponent. So it's a very, very common node for Iron Man Infinity War, because if he gets more than 4 armor ups, you cannot punch him without activating his auto block. So that's what's making it very, very dangerous. But yeah, I'll start now with the Nightcrawler fight. And the reason why I showed you both nodes in the beginning is that I have taken a invulnerability boost. Invulnerability boost lasts about 3 minutes, and that means that I cannot stop and do too much explanation between those two fights, so that I also can use that invulnerability boost for my second fight. That was the whole purpose. And now you will have to prepare yourself for the worst fight I've ever done against a Nightcrawler, doing all the mistakes that you can possibly do at the beginning. First, I underestimated his mastery. He was placed with maximum limber, so I underestimated how many actually punches I could give to him during his stun phase. And then I was pretty much lost back and forth fighting, and a bit losing what you actually have to do when you're fighting Nightcrawler, and that is you got to turn him. Make sure you turn him into the phase where he's not evading. And that you have two possibilities. Either you hit his block while his timer is on, which is more difficult, especially if he's unduped, because it just takes longer for him to then change the phases. Or you wait until he backs off, and while his timer is on, you do a light punch, which I did here. Now. And then you just block and wait, and then by the end of it, he will have turned into his so-called swashbuckling phase. And then suddenly it's a totally different fight. Then all you have to do is do your normal punches, activate your special ones, because on this node you want to activate as many debuffs as possible. Optimally, you get petrify debuffs from the very start. So then you actually can degenerate your opponent by just evading his attacks. You yourself get a dexterity buff, and because of the buffet node, every time you get a buff they regenerate, but because they have so many petrify buffs, they actually degenerate. So that's the normal way how to fight with Void on that node. It took me about a minute to get there. I think the good thing here is that I did not panic too long, that I stayed calm and then did what needed to be done, which is turn the phase of Nightcrawler to be able to just apply a normal fight on this very node. So yeah, it was the first fight in the morning. That's no excuse, it was a bad fight, but the good thing is that after such a fight you pretty much are awake. And I still had 40 seconds on the clock for my invulnerability boost, which was great because that means I could use it also for this fight number 2, which, as expected, was Iron Man Infinity War. Now, what you have to do during this fight is you have to watch very carefully his armor ups underneath his health bar. He may not have more than 3, otherwise you can only apply heavy attacks, because they are the only attacks that do not activate auto block. But what you can still do in the beginning, when he's still low on armor ups, you can still try to, especially with Void, again, activate special ones and spam debuffs. It's the same principle than before, even though this is not a healing node, but you still want, especially against Iron Man Infinity War, to apply as many debuffs as possible, because that prevents him, when he's reaching the 15% mark, to then gain any more power. Now, I was a bit lucky here because for a long time he was not able to actually get armor ups, a significant amount of armor ups, so I could apply quite a bit of normal punches and firing off my specials. And then came the phase, and that's now, where he's always around 3-4 armor ups, and that's the phase where you only apply heavy attacks with Void. What you can still do if you're in a phase then again where he's under the 3 armor ups, you apply a heavy attack, you wait the first 2 punches, and after those first 2 punches you can still activate a special attack 1. Like this you can still apply extra debuffs on Iron Man Infinity War. And as you can see here, now he's under those 15%. He doesn't gain any power because Void prevents that, and in the end it's actually the debuffs that kill him. So after the first fight, which was a bit of a screw up, now the second fight was so much better. And then moving on to the next opponent, I have the Scouter Lens Mastery. And I can only recommend it to all of you, because what it does is it shows you the health and also the rank of the opponent. Now I checked the profile of that person before, and there was only one rank 5 Science Champion, and that's Red Hulk. So like this, it was very obvious, okay, the next opponent is Red Hulk, and he's on, again, a healing node. So he gets Arc Overload every 20 seconds, plus a boost in the healing, but I can assure that with Blade, with Danger Sense activated, you do enough damage output to counter that healing. It's a question that I hear a lot of times now is, now that the update is out and now that, you get advantages with female champions, plus all the opponents are bleed immune, is Blade still as effective? I'd say in general it takes, of course, a bit longer with Blade, but if he has Danger Sense against his opponents, he does definitely do enough damage, even against champs like this one, a rank 5 champion, that are healing. So you can see here how much still of health it takes away. So you fight Red Hulk like you would fight any Red Hulk. You wait until he has a special 1, you let him fire off his special 1, which is really easy to evade, and then you on your side try to activate as many special attack 2s as possible. I mean, I didn't even use a skill, extra skill boost, which you can also do, which increases the special damage output, or the power regeneration after special damage use, but you don't really need that. I mean, now we're at, after 1 minute of the fight, he's already at 30% health, and now the regeneration phase is pretty much over already, and at almost half of the fight, which is 1 minute 30, he is down to below 20% health, 14%. So you see, it's absolutely not a problem, and here we're talking a rank 5 defender. That's as much health as it can be. So don't worry about, the damage output now after the update. You can still use Blade just as well against the right set of champions, and he gets them down in no time. So that was that Red Hulk fight. In the end, actually pretty easy. And then we continue to the last fight, which is Blade on the lower right mini boss node. That node has the normal mini boss boosts, which is 200% extra attack and health, plus an extra 300% health boost. So here you have 174,000 health for a rank 5 Blade. And then it's again a recovery node, boosting healing regeneration by 200%, and strike back, meaning every time you activate a special attack, your opponent gains 1 bar of power. And this is why I chose to fight with Void, even though he has class disadvantage, but he can of course turn healing into degeneration, plus at the same time, after he applied 2 petrify buffs, he can apply specials without the opponent gaining any more power from that strike back node. So in the beginning, you parry, you try not to have them get you too much driven into your corner of the map. I think that's the only danger really in that fight, is that you get cornered on your side of the map. So what you try is, be aggressive, try to keep them on their side, have Blade apply or fire off his special 1s, and you can basically parry stun him for as long as he has 1 or less bar of power. And as you can see here, like up until now, he does not yet have a petrify buff. Now he gets the first petrify buff. So now he would not get 1 bar of power from strike back, but only half a bar of power. And you will see that in a second, that he will only get half a bar of power now. And once he has 2 petrify buffs against him, that's when he does not gain any power at all from you using your specials. And now already we're at the phase of Fear of the Void. And you just apply the same strategy. You try to have him fire off his special ones, and you spam now your special ones yourself, because as you can see now, even with a Fear of the Void and a Petrify buff, he actually loses power when you apply a special attack. And in the end of the fight, now when he has Fear of the Void and 2 Petrify buffs, what you do best is you hit his block, because when he blocks, he is regenerating, but because you have the Petrify buffs on, that regeneration is turned into degeneration, and actually into accelerated degeneration, because on top that healing is boosted by 200%. So that's in the end going very, very quickly, and the right strategy is to really just hit Blade into the block and have him kill himself, basically. So that was my path. I hope it was helpful. I hope it was useful. Please comment in the comment section. If you liked the video, give it a like. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button if you want to see more war videos in the future. And a little heads up, at this stage we were about 2/3 into the war and had a huge lead over our opponents. So I'm very, very confident that we're going to win this very first war of the season, which is great because everybody wants to have a great start into Season 5, which I also hope all of you have, and all the best for Season 5 to all of you. Cheers, folks.